This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Alpena City Council meeting of October 19th, 2020. I'll call the order, please.
Councilman Heath.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Here.
Councilman Mitchell.
Here.
Councilman Noah.
Here.
And Mayor Walagora.
Here. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know. Steve stepped in. Approval of the minutes and modifications to our approval of the agenda and modifications. Need a motion for that. I move we approve the agenda.
Second.
Councilman Heath.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell.
Yes.
Councilman Noah.
Yes.
And Mayor Walagora.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Any modifications to the agenda this evening? Okay. Approval of the minutes, regular session of October 5th, 2020, and the closed session will be on our November 2nd, 2020 council meeting agenda. So any issues with the regular session of October 5th? Okay, citizens appearing before council on agenda and non-agenda items are allowed 5 minutes each to address your concerns. It's the only time during the council meeting you're allowed to address council, with the exception of the party of the medical marijuana appeal. You can wait until we get to that on the agenda, if you can hear me well. Otherwise, anyone else? Okay, and there's no one here live. No public hearing this evening. On the consent agenda, we have bills to be allowed in the amount of $584,080.98. A mayoral appointment of Diane Bauer to the Alpena Planning Commission for a 3-year term expiring on 11/1/23. A mayoral appointment of Jennifer Calery, Corey Canute, Cristi Johnson to the Downtown Development Authority, each for a 4-year term expiring on 10/1/2024. And a council reappointment of Phil Heath to the Recreation Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring on 11/1/2023. And a budget amendment request to decrease the general fund balance for public bathroom demolition.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell.
Yes.
Councilman Noah.
Yes.
Mayor Walagora.
Aye.
And Councilman Heath.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And we move down to report of officers. Tonight we have the introduction of our new planning development zoning director, Andrea Cares.
She's coming.
Bridges. Step in.
Oh, she said she was in the break room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Upstairs here?
No, right here. Alpena. Hello, everyone. Oh, if you could step up. Oh, yeah. Everyone can see this. Sorry.
Hi.
I'd like to introduce Andrea Cares. She comes to us from Redmond, Washington, and she's been here for just over a week, and we are so happy to have her after a 6-month search. So I will let her say a few words about herself, and then you'll see her later on the agenda.
Absolutely. So graduated from Grand Valley State University, moved out to Washington after that, worked as a permit tech and a planner. And then COVID hit, and I thought maybe being close to my family would be fun. So I am back here and super excited to work for Alpena. It'll be nice to get to know all of you as well as we go through all of this.
Excellent. Welcome. Thank you very much.
As well.
Thank you.
All right, next up is unfinished business. First, we have a concrete pavement restoration contract modification. Rich is coming in to,
After we gave him a little exercise. Going all the way to the
She was in the break room.
3 points of stairs. She's got much.
23 seconds, Rich.
Oh, that was good.
Get your breath.
On February 4th, the city received an open bids for the concrete pavement restoration project, which was subsequently awarded to Hunt Brothers Construction. At that time,
Take your time. Sorry about
You know, I'm not used to all that physical labor.
that.
Thank you, Rich. That was a valiant effort.
I should have guessed she was in here. At that time, we proposed replacing 65 of the worst transverse joints and 2 failing full sections within the 11th Avenue to maximize the capital preventative maintenance budget. In addition, the Alpena County Road Commission offered to perform patching on 11th Avenue in the joints that we weren't going to replace. They went in and did that here about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. No cost to the city. They volunteered to come in and do that for us. While reviewing the streets for both the concrete repairs and the crack patching, it was determined an additional 15 joints would be substantially beneficial to the overall condition of the street. This added a cost of $11,250. Funding has been established in the Major Street Fund for resurfacing First Avenue in the amount of $150,000. The current award for the project is approximately $120,000, leaving us $30,000 balance. It is my recommendation to city engineer that we approve the contract mod for concrete pavement restoration Hunt Brothers for $11,250 to do these additional 15 joints.
I'm assuming, Rich, the only question I had was, this is all going to be completed this fall?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
contractor should be in about 2 weeks, I believe is what they were saying.
Excellent. Any questions for Rich?
No.
That's all. I mean, move we approve the contract modification for concrete restoration to the Hunt Brothers in the amount of $11,250.
Second.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Noah,
Yes.
Mayor Walagora.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hess.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next, we have the resolution 2020-07, which is the adoption of the city's comprehensive plan.
Here she comes. We won't send Rich to get her again.
She went back downstairs.
She's younger.
Oh, there's a nice couch in the break room. Yeah.
Rich is probably using.
Perfect. Yeah. So we're here to adopt the new comprehensive plan. So in accordance with the State Planning and Enabling Act, the city is required to review and amend, update, or rewrite its plan every 5 years. So a discussion regarding the 2013 comprehensive plan was had between staff and the Planning Commission starting in around 2017. So during those discussions, it was determined that much of the 2013 comprehensive plan was still valid, and as such, a complete rewrite was deemed unnecessary. However, due to staff time constraints, assistance from an outside company would be required. As NEMCOG assisted in the preparing of the original and current comprehensive plan, they were the logical choice, and a contract for their assistance was approved by City Council on December 27th of 2017. Work on the comprehensive plan began in the spring of 2018, and that work included an online survey, updates to demographics, housing, economic data, and the existing land uses. This continued until spring of 2019. There was a lack of communication between staff and NEMCOG. So there was a staff resignation in 2020, and then the contract was reassigned to Denise and Christina McCumber, and they resumed efforts to complete the comprehensive plan at that time. So from March of 2020 to June of 2020, the comprehensive plan was completed. And on August 5th of 2020, City Council gave NEMCOG the approval to transmit the draft comprehensive plan to the adjacent communities and required entities. Comments were received from MDOT, the Lake State Railway, and the MEDC, and final changes were made to address the comments. And on September 21st of 2020, a hearing notice was placed in the Alpena News. During the hearing on October 13th of 2020, Planning Commission unanimously adopted the resolution of adoption, and as such, it is staff's recommendation that the updated comprehensive plan be adopted by the mayor and council. Any questions?
I do, huh?
It looks good.
Looks good. Looks good. Looks really good. We've been through it, so I think we made our comments and suggestions the last time, so it's like, I believe we've seen it several times, so, so thank you so much for your work on this and to everyone else that did anything along with this. I think it's well put together.
So I move we adopt resolution 2020-07.
Support.
Councilman Noah,
Yes.
Mayor Walagora.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hess,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Yes.
and Councilman Mitchell.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is the opt-out of PA 152 health insurance shared cost options for 2021.
Oh, Kathy.
Yes, that is me. So this is not new to you. Well, it's new to this council member. So each year, the city of Alpena has to make a decision whether or not that they will opt out of PA 152 or if they will adopt hard caps or a city's cap of an 80% contribution. In 2016, the city met that 20%, but that's when the city also realized that traditional plans and PPO plans were out of our reach. We could no longer afford any of those things. So we had to make several changes, and that's when we decided that having HSAs were most important. Something must be happening. And at that time, when you add an HSA into it and the city makes that, then it takes us over the hard caps or the 80-20 split on that. And the city decided at that time that we wanted to make contributions to the HSA accounts and help the employees out with that high deductible out-of-pocket expense. So we're asking for that again this year to allow us to do that. We have great news, and that is that our increase for this year is less than 5%. That was not expected in the least. So it is under what we had budgeted, but they did tell me to expect something a little bit more hearty next year. So we'll take advantage of it this year. But with the increase as well as the contribution to the HSA, it makes sense for the city or the, council once again to opt out of PA 152 and allow 20% cost share for the employees, but also that HSA contribution for the city to make. And that all was budgeted. As you guys probably remember, we went into lengthy conversation on those things. There'll be no change on the contribution. It will again help, it will help significantly families and employees manage their HSA and their health insurance.
So,
Any questions?
no.
No?
No question. Danny, do you have any questions?
Something, anything?
I trust you.
Oh, that's super nice.
So I'll move we opt out of Public Act 152 for 2021.
Second.
Mayor Walagora.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hess,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
and Councilman Noah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The employees, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for all your work.
Thanks.
All right, next on the agenda is the DNBK3 LLC medical marijuana application appeal. We have the information in our packet, both from the LLC and the response from our committee. I understand there's someone on the line with them.
Mhm.
Is it Marvin or Darren?
Marvin.
Marvin Carrera?
Marvin, are you there? Oh,
Yes, I'm on the line. Yep. Yeah, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Oh.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I don't know what the procedure is, if you guys maybe discuss it first and then I make comments.
Bill, did you want to explain?
Yeah, Marvin, what we did with the other one is we simply allowed you to make your arguments, and if council has questions, they will ask you questions along the way. We're not restricting your time in any way, but, you know, this isn't a court, so we're not expecting it to be formal in that regard. But you're free to tell us what you think we should consider in terms of your appeal.
Okay, no problem. Would you like me to start now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just give you guys a brief introduction. I'd like to, first of all, start off by thanking everybody for giving us the opportunity to appeal the decision. My name is Marvin Karana. I am the owner of DNVK3 LLC, the applicant entity here. Also an attorney. A brief background on the ownership group. It's owned by myself and Mr. Darren Amy. You may have heard that we have a location that's opening in nearby Harrisville soon. We currently have 2 stores operational, with 2 going online probably end of this month, and another 2 that are another 8 in the pipeline. We are proposing a provisioning center at 1249 Chisholm. And as a background, it is a vacant building. It's blighted, and we made an application. We pretty much received all the points outside of new construction and also the residents. Obviously, we're not residents of Alpena or Alpena County, so we understand that. Appeal here is more focused on the new construction. And I've done a lot of these applications. I've probably worked on over 20 of them. This is actually the first scoring application that I've lost, and maybe about 8 or 9 of them. And it was a little difficult, and what made it difficult, it was there was no clear or depth of what the scoring criteria, you know, means, how to get the points. Usually there's a FAQ attached, or maybe a handbook that kind of explains on, you know, how you get the points and what you need to do to get the points. For example, there's capital, you get the points, for example, investment, you know, what includes as capital investment. Is it other items, for example, the new construction. So we are proposing to occupy the vacant building. It is blighted, and next door to it, there's what's known as a Brett's Auto. And Brett's Auto is currently used to store ambulances, I believe, for the company down the road. It's a blighted building. We talked to the owner, and we had planned on demolishing it. We're going to repave it, re-landscape, and kind of beautify the area. We felt that you know, construction there should have or would have qualified for, you know, the construction points. Because it wasn't really defined or made clear. We're not sure, you know, what was what. That's all I have to say regarding that. If there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And I did lay out an alternative in the appeal letter. I'm sure you all read that, but I think that's a good option. I know everybody's a little hesitant on marijuana when it first comes in, but I could assure you it's good for the community. With that being said, if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you, Marvin.
You're welcome.
So we all had an opportunity to read the entire application, specifically this portion regarding the points that were not allowed if our applicant proposes to conduct a new facility, or applicant proposes to use an existing building or structure. And from what I gathered from everything, it was very clear and quite an impressive application as far as that portion went. It was very detailed as far as what you what the applicant expected to do with the former Brett's Auto. I didn't honestly see anything in there except for one maybe very small reference to actually proposing to construct a new facility. And this isn't the first time that an applicant has had issues with what our intent was for some of these point values. But here on this one, I think we were clear, at least to ourselves, and the committee scored it from my personal perspective and professional, that they scored it in accordance with what we had put on there or expected to, that it was either constructing a new building or a new facility altogether, like a vacant lot, or completely removing a building and building a new one would be to construct a new facility. So I really didn't see any issue with how the committee scored it. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Mayor. I came to the same conclusion after looking at that. My interpretation was exactly the same, where it was we're moving into an existing building. And yes, I agree with your representation of what the scoring was going to be if using an existing building is one building would be deconstruction, but then rebuilding a new facility in that place. So after review, I came to the same conclusion that, it was scored correctly.
I look at the factor that taking down Brett's Auto part like this fell in the qualifications of demolition. And then to upgrade the warehouse facility to the standards that are required fall under renovation. But none of that doesn't fall under new construction of facility. Not like the one that will be going in across from the Cracker Barrel, which will be raised from the ground and built anew. So that qualifies as new construction. So very easy.
I don't disagree with everyone else. And on page 455 of your application, you said more importantly, this is a redevelopment. Redevelopment isn't new construction. So I agree with my colleagues that the committee did their job and awarded the correct points.
Yes, I agree based on everything that's been said. We scored correctly.
Okay, and I know it wasn't part of the appeal, but I think each one of us probably looked down a couple below that just to make sure that the blight was scored, because there was some discussion on our last appeal as far as blight goes, but that was scored properly as well. So so that's, I guess, our
I do have I don't know if I can make a comment right now or if this is the moment for it.
Yeah.
So we are demolishing the Brett's Auto. Again, it's hard to understand what the intent of, whoever developed the scoring criteria is. It's not laid out for us. We're given the scoring criteria and, we're kind of forced to work off of that. But, there is some construction going on. New construction is that, I know the intent just stated was to construct a brand new building, but we are demolishing. Has it been practice? I don't know what happened in the last appeal. I did watch it, but not all of it, to award. There was 2 points for that category to award a partial point and maybe get 1 point on that. If that's the case, I don't know what happens if a tie, but we would be tied with the next applicant.
Right, I understand. I read that in your that option in your appeal as well. I don't. We have yet to had taken that option to give anyone a partial point.
You gave a partial point on the last one related to the The 500,000 or 900,000?
No, that
Or
was
was
a
that just one
2-point
line?
question.
It was a two separate questions.
Okay.
We haven't taken, I think we're probably maybe I think that would be unwise for us to start giving partial points since we hadn't given the committee any guidance to award partial points anywhere in the entire system. And to start now, I think would be really.
I agree.
Yeah, that other question gave 1 point
It gave
for
1 point,
500,
yeah.
2 points for 900.
Right. That was.
Wasn't.
It wasn't a partial.
No, I agree with you, Mr. Mayor. I don't think that, that we want to start that as now awarding partial points, based on deconstruction. It's 2 points, right from complete. Rebuilding.
I look at new construction, it's literally that, new construction.
Yeah, I agree with your assessment, Councilman Mitchell, from the ground up.
Okay. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It looks like we're all in favor of denying the appeal. So I appreciate your time. And that's pretty much our closed for that, and I wish you well. And
Do we want to put that in motion?
yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, you need a motion.
Okay.
So I'm going to move that we deny the appeal application to
DMBK 3.
DMVK. Thank you.
That's right.
Second.
Councilwoman Hess,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Noah,
Yes.
and Mayor Walagora.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you.
Still here. Okay. Is that on our agenda?
I move we adjourn to closed session to discuss litigation between the city and Alpena Township.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Noah,
Yes.
Mayor Walagora,
Aye.
and Councilwoman Hess.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, and are we still on, Steve? Okay, so we are going into closed session to discuss pending litigation with the township. We won't be taking any action when we come back out, so we will only be coming back out to a regular session to adjourn the meeting, just in case someone was going to hang out for anything. There won't be any other related items. So thank you.